Hi everyone, this is Susie again, and today we're going to be making some vegan menudo, and this is the Mexican menudo, not the Filipino menudo, just in case you guys wanted to know, because I know the Filipinos also make something called menudo, but this is the Mexican one, okay? The one that's like a soup. And these are some of the ingredients we'll be using. We have some onion, garlic, chile de arbol, which is a little one right there by the garlic. And we are going to be using pasilla peppers, chile ancho, chile guajillo, some, I think it's called hominy. It's the one right here. This you find in the Mexican stores. And it's the white one, and also some mushrooms. And also, if for some reason you don't want to do it with all these different types of peppers, you can just use the chile guajillo, which is this one. That's the name, chile guajillo, and this is the one, okay? And you can just look for them in any Mexican store. Oops. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I want to tell you guys that this is my very first time making vegan menudo. But I wanted to record it in case I do like the recipe, that way I can share it with you. So, okay, so just so you know. The first thing that we are going to do is, I washed my chiles because they are a little dusty, or you can just, wipe them with a wet cloth. And I have 2 guajillos, 1 ancho, and 1 pasilla. And like I said, you can do all the guajillos if you only have guajillos, or you don't want to do that many different chiles. That's fine. Oh, and 1 chile de arbol because I don't want it too spicy. And there's 2 things that you can do now. So the first thing that you can do is, just to make it easy, I usually just take off this so it doesn't have any of these tails or whatever they're called before I put them in. And I am heating up some water. It doesn't have to be boiling or anything, it just has to be like really hot so that I can put them in my bowl, heat resistant, and then I'll just add the hot water, and then I'll put a plate on top just to have them really stay down and get completely soaked in the hot water. And you just leave them there. You can even leave them like overnight if you want to do this like the night before, so if you're going to be cooking in the morning, they're ready for you. Or usually I'll just add some hot water and they're ready for you within maybe like, I don't know, half an hour to an hour or so. Or you can just put the chiles in the hot water and just boil them until they become soft, which it might be maybe like 20 minutes or so. So you have those options. Or the other option is, I've seen some people also, what they do is they'll take the chiles and then they will dry roast them on a completely dry pan. And then you just, dry roast them for a little bit. You open these up with like your scissors, and I have my trash can here, so that way you take off all the veins and the seeds and everything. So you clean them up from the inside so that they don't have any veins or any seeds, and then they're ready to be roasted before you soak them. So you would first roast these like this once they're like pretty much cleaned up, and then you would just put them in your pan and just like very quickly roast them. You don't want them to get burned or anything because then they'll get bitter, and you would do that with all your chiles before you soak them. But I don't want to do that unless you guys want to get fancy. You can do that if you want. I'm just going to soak them. I just wanted to show you what your options were, okay? So there we go. And for this, if you're going to soak them, I don't take anything out. I just put them whole in there because I have a high-speed blender. So the seeds, it's not a big problem. And we're going to strain it anyways at the end, so it doesn't matter to me. So I just put all my chiles. I have my hot water, and I'm just going to add the hot water so that they're completely covered. And then, like I say, I just add my plate on top. Make sure that all your chiles are stain down so that they all get soaked. And we're just going to leave that for a little bit and come back when they're ready. In the meantime, we'll start preparing the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so now I have my pot and I'm going to add about 4 cups of water to this. And we're just going to let this get hot, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of the better than bouillon base. If you have the one that's for like a beef flavor, that would be good, because this is originally done with beef. But I'm going to use this one because this is what I have, or you don't have to add any if you don't have. So I'm going to heat the water, and then I'm going to take a little bit of the water, and because this is a very thick paste, so I'm going to whisk it and then put it back, and then we'll start cooking the rest of the ingredients, okay? So I went ahead and cleaned my mushrooms and I cut them up in little pieces like this. Okay, and you can chop them however you like. And this is about like 1.5 cups. And I have a chunk of onion, a big chunk of onion that is going to go into our water. And then in the meantime, we're going to prepare our hominy. Okay, so I have a 29 ounce of white hominy, and this is what it looks like if you've never seen it before. Okay, just like that. And I like to rinse mine under cold water and just strain that really well, okay? Okay, here's our rinsed hominy, and I also reserved the liquid that was in the can. And because the top part of the liquid is pretty clear and it is very flavorful, so I just set that aside in case I wanted to add it to my menudo. But what happens is that at the bottom of the can, the hominy gets a little sticky or a little kind of like gooey and stuff, so I wanted to rinse that out really well so that it wasn't like that, but I still reserved the liquid that was clear at the very top once you open it, so I just reserved that in case I need it for later. Okay, so now that the water was boiling, I took some of it out in a little bowl, and I'm going to add about maybe about a teaspoon or so of the better than bouillon base, and I'm just going to whisk that. I just find that it would be easier to whisk it in a small bowl than in the big one, but if you want to do it in your big pot, that's fine too. And I'm just going to whisk this really well. Okay, I think it's whisked. And pour it back in there. And now we're going to add our piece of onion, white onion. And I think I'm going to add the mushrooms now as well. We're going to let that cook for a little bit, okay? And I'm probably going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to it, but that is according to your taste. Okay, so it's been half an hour, and this is what our chiles look like. They're they seem pretty soft enough to be blended, okay? And this is what our mushroom soup looks like, or menudo, it's starting to look like. And you want it on low heat. You don't want it on super high heat because the mushrooms cook pretty quickly, so yeah, so let's do the mole now, okay? Okay, so now what I do is I'll put about 2 cloves of garlic. I might end up putting more, I don't know, because I love garlic, but you guys can do less if you want. And you just put the chiles in there, just like that, and you'll take the little stem. If it still has a little bit of stem, just put that aside. You don't want that. And then I just put them in. But be careful because this is hot and the chiles are spicy. And you want a little bit of the juice, or the liquid, so that it blends easy. And we're just going to blend that until pretty smooth. Not super smooth because we're still going to strain it anyway, so it doesn't have to be super smooth, but you do want it well blended. Okay, so this is what the mole looks like. And the other thing is that if you don't have a high-speed blender, I would probably take out the seeds before you soak the chiles, but make sure you put gloves on because some of these chiles are pretty spicy. I probably wouldn't do it for the chile de arbol, which is the small one, but for the big ones, you can take out the seeds and the veins and stuff like that before you soak them. That way, it'll be easier for it to blend. And then you can add, I added about a half a teaspoon of salt because it did need a little bit of salt. And I think that's it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to strain the mole. This is a mole. Anything that has like chiles and stuff like that, we call a mole. And I like to do it separately, not in the pot, just in case you have extra, you made extra mole, for some reason it was too much. You can always save the mole and do some enchiladas or something with it, so you can do other things with it. And then you're just going to strain this really well. And whatever liquid I had left with for my soaking, for my chiles that were soaking, I'll just put that in there and then give this a little shake, really well, and pour that in there, okay? Okay, so here we have our beautiful mole sauce. That's what it looks like. And it tastes delicious. And now we're going to pour it into our menudo. Okay, so now we're going to add our grano to our menudo. And you don't have to add the whole thing if you don't want to, depending on your taste, but I think I will. I'm going to add the whole thing. It's not too much. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to add our mole. It yielded about 2 cups of mole. And now we're just going to add that in there. Just a little bit at a time so we can see how it tastes. If it's not too strong, you don't want it super strong flavor. You just want it enough. Let's see. Oh my god, it tastes delicious. It tastes like menudo. Let me show you. There you go. Yay! We did it! It looks like menudo and it tastes like menudo. Okay, so now we're going to make sure, it heats through so that the mole warms up really well. And I think we're done. Okay, the other thing that I was going to tell you is that some people, instead of adding the chunk of onion to the menudo, they'll add it to the chiles when they're going to blend it. And then they'll just, strain it with everything together with the garlic and everything. Or you can add the piece of onion there. And then you can take it out if you want, unless you want to eat it, that's fine. But, so yeah, so you have that option as well. Okay, so we did have a lot of extra mole. Well, not a lot, maybe like a cup and a half or so. And you can either do 2 things. Either you can save this mole and maybe we're just going to have to make some enchiladas. And I'm going to have to make another video for you guys so you can use up the extra mole. Or you can just probably cut the recipe in approximately like half maybe. And if you do want to use all the chiles, I would just cut the chiles in half with like a scissor and then just use half of the chile. That's fine. Half the amount. Maybe 1 guajillo, half of a ancho and half of a pasilla, and still 1 of the chile de arbol. Or you can just do the extra mole and now you have extra sauce so you can have another meal for another day. So those are your 2 options. Okay, so our vegan menudo is ready. So we warmed up some corn tortillas, and you usually serve this with a little bit of lime or lemon juice and some chopped onion if you want some white onion, some extra onion, and some chile de arbol that you just like dry roasted on your comal before you warm up your tortillas for like 2 seconds so that they get a little charred. Or you can use just red chili pepper flakes. That works too. And some dry oregano. I don't know if I mentioned the dry oregano. And let me show you, okay? Okay, so what you do with the oregano is you take a little bit in your hands and you just want to mash it really well between your hands, and you add a little bit of the lime juice or lemon juice, whatever you like or have. And then if you want onions, you just add some of the onions. And if you have the chiles, obviously you can put some gloves on or chop this up with some scissors or something. Put that in there. Oops. Mix it really well. Grab your tortilla. Bite into it. And bite in and eat your menudo. Let's see. Ooh, it's spicy. This is good. This is really good. Tastes very similar to the regular menudo. So I hope you guys try it and like it. And if you do it a little differently than I do and like it, please share your ideas with me, okay? And even though this is traditionally a breakfast meal, believe it or not, people love this for like hangovers. If you have a hangover, menudo would be what you would eat the next day. After, you know, you've been drinking the night before. So, but this is perfect for lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever you guys want to. It tastes very, very close to the original thing. And so I hope you guys try it and enjoy it, and have a great day. Thank you for watching.